IRC is one of the most tried and tested online chat protocols out there, and even though it's been around for eons, it's still popular today. In fact, your plucky Raspberry Pi is powerful enough to be used as an IRC server. Here we'll show you how to do it. Hi, this is Phil from Make Tech Easier, and this is turned Raspberry Pi into an IRC server. Dating back to the 80s, IRC is one of the classic chat protocols that's still the driving force behind many modern online communities, including the popular Twitch streaming platform. Today there are no shortage of IRC clients and servers available. You can also set up your own IRC server with a Raspberry Pi. In this video you'll learn how to turn your Raspberry Pi into an IRC server. Why should I set up my own IRC server? Very good question. There are two main benefits to creating your own server. One, complete control over the chat experience. With your own IRC server, you'll have the freedom to assign your own moderators, create channels for the topics you care about, and have the final say in who can and can't join your server. Perfect if you're sick of your online discussions getting hijacked by trolls, bots, spammers, and other digital undesirables. Two, take control of your data. Are you concerned about third-party leaking your information accidentally, or selling it on purpose, or using it in targeted adverts? By running your own server, you can maintain control over all your data, ranging from your username and email address right through to your IRC chat logs. What you'll need. To complete this tutorial, you will need a Raspberry Pi, of course, running Raspberry Pi OS, a power cable that's compatible with your Raspberry Pi, an external keyboard, HDMI or micro HDMI cable depending on the Raspberry Pi model, external monitor, and an Ethernet cable if not connected over Wi-Fi. Getting started. Set up your Raspberry Pi. To start, connect the power cable and all the peripherals to your Raspberry Pi. Once your Raspberry Pi has booted, make sure it is connected to the internet. Open the terminal and type the following commands to update the system. Sudo apt update && sudo apt -y upgrade. If the Raspberry Pi does install any updates, then reboot the Pi before moving on to the next step. Install the IRCD-HYBRID server. You'll be creating an IRC server using the IRCD-HYBRID daemon. Install the IRCD-HYBRID package using the following command. Sudo apt install IRCD-HYBRID. This download can take a while, quite a long while actually, so now's the perfect time to grab that cup of coffee you've been promising yourself for the last hour. Secure your server, creating an encrypted password. You'll need to create an encrypted password that you'll use to connect to your IRC server as an operator, which will give you increased privileges similar to a moderator or admin account. To create an encrypted password, run the following command. Replace the words "your password here" with the password that you intend to use. The terminal will now return a series of letters and numbers, which is your encrypted password. Make a note of this password on a piece of paper, as you'll need it to set up your server's operator account. Configuring your IRC server. Next, you'll need to configure the IRCD-HYBRID software. Sudo nano /etc/IRCD-hybrid/ircd.conf. This opens the ircd-conf configuration file in Raspberry Pi's Nano text editor. This file contains many settings, but as a minimum you should make the following changes. Give your IRC server a name. Scroll to the server info block and find the following. Name equals hybrid8.debian.local. You should give your server a unique name. For example, mteserver.irc. Provide a description. You'll need to provide a short description which will be displayed whenever someone connects to your IRC server. Find the following: description equals, and then replace IRC Hybrid 8.1 Debian with something of your own choice. In this instance, we replaced it with Raspberry Pi IRC server. Now tell us about your network. Scroll to the following section. Network_name equals Debian. Network_description equals this is my network. These two lines describe the network where your server is running, so you should update it to reflect your specific network. For example, in this case, we'll say it's my network and this is my Raspberry Pi IRC network. Set some limits. By default, IRCD-HYBRID allows 512 connections at any one time. If you want to change this limit, then find the following line, default_max_clients. At the moment it says 512. You can now increase or decrease this 512 user limit. In this case, I'm only going to allow a maximum of 100 connections to my IRC server. I'm not very popular. Default_max_clients equals 100. Now create your operator. Next up is defining some settings for the operator. Scroll down to the operator block. Note that this section may require uncommenting, so delete the first hash symbol in each line. With that done, find the following line. Name equals sheep. Replace this line with the name that you want to assign to your operator group, in this case operator. You need to specify who can run the operator command by editing the following line. Replace it with this line, which will allow anyone to access operator if they have the correct credentials. User equals *@*. Finally, add the encrypted password that you generated earlier. Find that bit of paper and transcribe it into the field after the word password. Password equals quotes, encrypted password, end quotes, semicolon. Make sure that you replace this line with the encrypted password and not the plain text version, obviously. Once you're happy with the information you've entered, save the configuration file by pressing Ctrl-O and then Ctrl-X to close it. Run your IRC server. Restart the hybrid IRCD server using the following line. Once the server restarts, it's ready to use. MIRC, connecting to your Raspberry Pi server. Okay, you can connect to your IRC server using any IRC client. I'm using MIRC on Windows 10, but other popular alternatives include WeChat and LimeChat for Mac OS. To connect to your IRC server, launch your chosen client and then opt to add a new server. Depending on your IRC client, you should now be prompted to enter the following information. Description. This is how the server will be displayed on your IRC client, so enter any value you want to use. Address. This is the IP address of your Raspberry Pi IRC server. If you don't know the IP address, you can retrieve that information by opening a terminal on your Raspberry Pi and running the hostname-i command. And ports. You should set this port to 6667, which probably will be preset for you when you add the server, as this is the default for most servers. Click Add to be able to connect to your IRC server. As you can see, it's rather easy to set up an IRC server on your Raspberry Pi. There are tons of things that Raspberry Pi can do too, like perform as a captive portal Wi-Fi access point, a music server, or even a personal web server. Links to all of that in the description. And of course, do check out our Raspberry Pi channel for more tutorials. Also link in the description. Okay, as always, thanks very much for watching. That's all for now. See you next time.